Broadcasting from Villain Crusher Studios, I'm Tom Terrific, and this is the Villain Crusher, where we feature entrepreneurs and investors who change the world. We've got some exciting guests today, but before we meet them, it's time for the superhero thought for the day. This is a quote by a very famous and championship tennis player, and she says, "A champion is not defined by their wins, but how they recover when they fall." And that was from Serena Williams. We all know her again as a championship tennis player. But I think that relates to us entrepreneurs as well. I think anytime anybody talks to us, if we give them the whole story, we've probably fallen a lot more times than we've had tremendous victories, but we always have gotten up. So as you go through your day, you take a tumble, you know that you're going to get up. With me today are two tremendous gentlemen who have a fantastic story and product that is going to be world-changing. First of all, we have Robert Sweetman, the founder and CEO of Existential Technologies, and also his corporate ambassador, Mike Shepardson. But before we meet these people and get a sense to hear about their story, let's take a look at this clip. That was a fantastic clip, and that's a little bit of a precursor as the type of product that is going to change lives. Let's meet these guys. Robert, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Tom.
I've looked at the tape. I've looked at your website. You and I've had many conversations. Doing what you're doing now doesn't happen overnight. There are parts of you and your personality that were formed early on to prepare you for what you're doing now. Talk a little bit about some of the forces that affected you in your life that's brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the pillars of my life, there's quite a few. I would say my dad. I would say wrestling. I also went into business. And then I took a change of direction and decided to join the Navy. Made it through the SEAL teams. And so now at this point in my life, I reflect back on my dad and his work ethic, just 60 hours a week for decades.
What kind of work did your dad do?
Well, actually, he was an electrical and mechanical engineer. So he did both. So beginning from the time when I was in diapers, I was around sort of a technology and engineering.
Now, you said that you were part of the SEAL force. By the way, thank both of you for your service, first of all.
Thank you.
Are there any stories that come to mind that you perhaps encountered as a SEAL that kind of prepared you for life as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the big things with the SEAL teams is overcoming adversity and challenging yourself in a way that lets you exceed perhaps what you thought was possible before. And so I would say that, an overarching message that I've received directly in my heart from the SEAL teams is that I will never give up. And that's critical. I think that that's critical in entrepreneurship, as well as my marriage, raising my children. And so with that, I sort of bring that vigor to our new business endeavor, and we've been working at it for 18 months, and we will not give up.
Well, as all entrepreneurs know, that's a spirit you've got to have. Now, Dave, let's talk to you a little bit about your upbringing. You're also a veteran. In fact, you're not even in that category yet. You're active duty.
That is correct, Tom.
Right?
I am still active duty.
Talk to us a little bit about your upbringing and some of the things that shaped you to to be tough against the challenges of entrepreneurship.
Right. Thank you, Tom. So I am a Fleet Marine Force corpsman, which is a combat medic for the Marine Corps Infantry by trade. I met Rob while serving with SEAL Team 1, and through my multiple deployments, combat deployments to Afghanistan, and over the years, we've gotten really good at treating injuries downrange. We've gotten really good when it comes to combat medicine. When I met Rob, I had done a deployment with Team 1, multiple deployments with Marine Corps Infantry, and he had presented me this problem that our guys are suffering when they get back with no solution. And that's something I've seen both downrange and at home, is the inability to take care of our guys. I was being crushed by this feeling, being able to take care of my guys when I'm away and unable to when we get back home. And so that's really has shaped me and driven me to push existential technologies to the next level, not just for the military combatant, but for the corporate combatant as well. The stress can be very similar. The expectations are very high, and sleep is pivotal when it comes to performing at the top level.
Thank you. I know that both of you have got very personal and heart-wrenching stories about some of your colleagues who suffered mightily and sometimes with tragic consequences. Can you talk a little bit about your personal relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a reason why I'm sitting in this seat working on a sleep technology right now, and that is that sort of my specialty is electronics. I excelled in that within the SEAL teams, but my passion is with sleep. And before I left the SEAL teams, I lost a friend to suicide. And there are a number of different factors involved in that, and we'll never know sort of the truth, right? But I do know that he was up for nearly a week before that happened, and I know that his sleep was terrible leading up to that. And so I began to peel that back and take a look at, is this an isolated problem? Is it SEAL teams wide? Is it Navy wide? Is it military wide? And what I found was that it's a huge problem across the board that I didn't even realize. And so I was done at that moment. I dedicated my life to solving this problem, and we've been working at it for a couple years now. I think we've got a really good grounding on how to sort of curb the sleep epidemic. And you know, I can't save Ryan, but perhaps I can save others like him. So that's my mission.
Wow. And you've had similar situations with buddies you've known as well, is that correct, Dave?
I have, Tom. Through my multiple combat deployments, I lost many brothers. And unfortunately, since returning from my last combat deployment, I've lost more of my brothers to their own hands on our own soil than I did in my combat deployments combined.
Wow.
And that is fuel to my fire. That is why we're here today. Something has to be done. Something has to be done with the sleep epidemic that is taking place, not just in the military, but across the world.
Both of you clearly are very powerfully motivated to get this product to the world who needs it. I don't think there's a person out there who has suffered many days of sleepless nights or bad sleep. I know myself, I wake up, if I don't have the right sleep, I feel like I'm just walking through mud. I know there's been a lot of studies, which you know more about it than I do, about how our effectiveness is crippled if we don't get the right sleep. We've only got about 30 seconds in this segment, and the next segment we're going to talk more specifically about your product and kind of where you are in the marketplace.
Okay.
But any last minute things you want to say just about how motivated you are and why this thing is going to happen regardless of any challenge?
Yeah, we're really focused on saving our brothers and sisters out there in the field. But what we're talking about is sort of combat in the field as it relates to combat in the corporation and the similarities there, because we're all dealing with stress and we all need to perform at our best. And so when we have a chance to talk about that in the next segment, I'd love to dive into it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we've heard of two highly motivated gentlemen who are truly going to change the world with their product. I'm Tom Terrific. You're watching The Villain Crusher, and we'll be right back. Broadcasting from Villain Crusher Studios, I'm Tom Terrific, and this is the Villain Crusher, where we feature entrepreneurs and investors who change the world. We're back, and joining us are two gentlemen who have a tremendous product that is going to change lives. We've got Rob Sweetman, the founder and CEO of Existential Technologies, as well as Dave Shepardson, corporate ambassador. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Tom.
In this segment, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be diving a little more deeply into the actual product that they've developed. They're going to be giving you some updates as to where they are in terms of attention that they are gathering more and more momentum with, and a little bit about some of the background technology that goes into this fabulous product. Let's go to you, Rob. Tell us a little bit about what this product is. You've been talking about how it's going to help sleep. Give us some of the technology behind it.
Yeah, so, I've been working on technology for so long I can't remember. I actually taught it in the Navy to the SEAL teams, and I was awarded for excellence in curriculum development for some new technology stuff we were working on. So really, technology, I have a book at home full of ideas. So when you combine that with my passion for sleep and this mission that we talked about earlier, it's really a recipe for success. So we've created something incredible. I mean, it's never been done before. We're using organic light-emitting diode displays to do what we call a virtual environment. And so imagine you step inside of our sleep pod and you're transported to Hawaii on the beach or anywhere that you choose, and you can watch a sunset as the light goes down and you can hear the waves crashing in, and
wow.
This is how you fall asleep. And that is healthy sleep onset. We've got the science down. You look at major sleep doctors like Muzet or Seisler or Obrovich, and they've got papers on the very things that we're doing right now. It's only now that the technology is sort of caught up to allow us the capability of what we're doing, and it's incredible.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the variety. In other words, is there just beach scene that somebody could experience, or are there a number of different sleep-inducing scenes? What have you found?
The beautiful thing about this design is that we can choose every single element of this environment that you step into. So if, for example, I met one guy, he was in the Army, and he was explaining to me his ideal sleep environment, and believe it or not, he's from Tijuana, Mexico, and he loves the city. He needs to hear the city noises, and so for him, that will put him to sleep. So really, the ability to change and sort of make this individualized, personalized, and absolutely customized is one of our strengths.
Wow. Because everybody's brains are different.
Everybody's different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, is this something that one would have to go to, say, a storefront to go to, or would you have it in airports? Would you have it in offices? How would that work?
Well, that's a great question. We're in testing right now, and we're looking to have a full production model soon. However, our target would be more of, let's say, a corporation or an airport. And when you take a look at the corporations and the airports, from our perspective, it's really the same customer. It's the road warrior. It's the American that is traveling to put food on his table with his family. And those individuals need to perform just like we performed in combat in the field. This is combat in the corporation. And so those road warriors deserve a chance to shake off the jet lag, get restored, get reset, and perform at the highest level. So we'd like to offer it at airports. We have a couple in mind, and we've already talked to some corporations in San Diego where we're at now about potentially implementing this. It's already been done at Google and Facebook, just with very rudimentary models, so we want to take it to the next level.
Gotcha, gotcha. So a corporation, for example, would have your pod, I guess you call it a sleep pod, in a room, and people would perhaps sign up for an hour and be able to refresh themselves and get back to work and be more productive.
Yeah, we're not just giving a place to sleep. We're giving the best sleep environment possible.
So it's very restorative.
Yeah, it will put you to sleep faster. It will keep you asleep. You're talking about the highest quality of sleep you can get. And we all know when you have a bad night's sleep what it feels like. Like you said, trudging through mud, just getting through the day, that leads to loss of productivity. And we've seen so many reports that have put out what kind of loss of productivity. We're looking for, we want to give you the best opportunity to perform at the highest level.
Right.
Sleep health is mental health. As soon as you start to lose sleep, your cognitive impairment increases rapidly. We want to crush that, if you will.
I like that. I like that verb. Is this something that, say someone is at an airport, do they program it themselves? Would you have an operator there who would help them out? How would that work?
Yeah, let me paint the picture on what that would look like. Imagine a beautiful, tranquil retail space that you just got off your flight from, let's say you're flying into JFK, you're coming from Germany, maybe it's a 10-hour flight, and you're dead tired. The person's been bugging you next to you on the flight.
Right.
Yeah, and so all you need is a nap, and then you realize that your layover is another 6 hours before another long flight. And so you just pop over to our retail space, you come in, they're already pre-programmed with the standard beach environment. And if you want to change it, it's just a simple touch of a button. You can control it through the app that we offer, and you can reserve ahead of time.
Really?
You know what, Tom, they're doing this all over the world already. There's a very low penetration in the United States. There's actually only 4 locations with sort of a micro hotel. But there's a huge gap in need to service these road warriors.
Right.
We want to be there for them.
Yeah, this is almost like good medicine.
It is good medicine.
You know, it's not just, like you said, places where someone can just lay down. A lot of people, they lay down, but they're still not getting restorative sleep.
Right.
And it sounds like you're creating an environment that is going to allow them to get solid restorative sleep in a relatively short period of time.
It's all about the brain science. And we have figured out, I authored a paper last year, light, sound, and temperature and how that affects sleep. And it turns out that when we measure brainwave activities during sleep, these factors have a significant impact on your ability to achieve restorative sleep. So you may feel or not feel that you slept well, but we can measure it with brainwave activity. And that's our position, and that's how we can get exact results.
Wow. Wow. When you have this program, it's going to be able to be put in a number of different places, and I think the idea about the traveler or the corporate executive needing a place to get some solid sleep before they've maybe got a big project to work on. What is really the thing that is exciting people? Because you've told me you've got people approaching you who are very excited about what you're doing. Tell us about who some of those people are and what are they saying about your project?
Rob?
Well, we've gotten resounding support from UCSD. We
Really?
really appreciate that. Veteran Ventures has supported us. We won the quick pitch contest at UCSD. Next week on Wednesday, we're doing another pitch. We're going to raise the roof. Actually, we're debuting, this is the first time that we're showing the prototype to the public. You know, everywhere we turn, people are offering to get involved. Our team is very strong. We have a PhD in neuroscience. He's been doing this for 40 years on human performance. We have an MD on the staff. We have a supply chain logistics guy. Everybody wants to get involved because they see exactly what the CDC is saying, that we're in a state of sleep epidemic. It's not one person or just the road warrior. That's where we'll start, but this is a huge epidemic.
Now, we've talked about, you know, the road warrior traveler and corporate executives, but given your background, being the military, I got to believe that the military is also very interested in what you're doing.
Absolutely, Tom. We originally developed this technology for use in the military.
That's right.
Specifically with the SEAL teams, identifying the need for restful sleep, both for PTSD prognosis, increasing it, and also just for human performance.
Great. I'm overwhelmed with the kind of progress you've made. I want to thank you both for your presence and sharing some of your time about a product that is really going to change the world. So thank you very much. Folks out there, this is something that we all have to support because it's going to change lives in a very profound way and just increase the quality of life. So I want to thank you for watching. This is Tom Terrific, broadcasting from Villain Crusher Studios. Have a great week and keep crushing. Thank you.